All right, so if you know me, I'm always talking about exploring color, right? When it comes to your color grades, but exploring colors in ways that perhaps challenge you or surprise you even, right? And that's why we created CGX, for example, so you can explore effectively random color grades. But I want to show you today another method that I started using recently, which is kind of fun, especially when you have a shot like this that has a decent amount of contrast, some interesting color palettes with the blue and those browns. It looks really great, her skin tone. And how to wake it up, how to give it some life with itself after you find something cool. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to be using CGX and CMX2. Okay, so check it out. We're going to start with CGX. I'm going to go with Explore tab, and I'm going to use the little double arrows on the bottom, and I'm going to do just whatever I get. I'm going to see if I can find something cool. So let's hit the double arrows. We have a look. We have another look. We're just going to keep looking, keep clicking until something pops out. That's kind of interesting, maybe a little strong. We can tweak it. I don't know. Let's keep going. Keep in mind, too, that as we keep going, we can always go backwards in our history, right? See, we can go backwards to the previous ones, and we can go forwards to the ones we were just on. That one's okay, but it looks a little common. Let's see. That one's very subtle. That one's interesting. Let's see if we can find all these greens are interesting, but that would be when you get those kind of radical colors like this, a lot of times you blend that in or make a couple of small shifts and you get some cool tones you may not have expected. So that's interesting. That takes my blue and makes it a little stronger and adds some like a pink tone to everything else. Kind of interesting. Let's roll with that, but I'm going to go to the Create tab and I'm going to increase the saturation manually a little bit, just a little bit. Now, immediately I go to CMX2 and then I analyze. So I'm going to analyze the palette that I just created, right? On the actual image. Sure enough, I get a result. Let's explore, see if we can get some of that blue out. There it is. Let's blend some of that blue a little bit. And then let's go ahead and apply it. Boom. So now we've applied it. We can play with the opacity. As you can see, so here's the original, right? And here's the CGX color palette that was created. And then we analyze the CGX palette on the image itself, and we use CMX2 to apply it, right? With a gradient map, giving us a nice tonal contrast. Now we can play with opacities until we get something that we like. So on CGX, we can come back here and scale back the opacity, something like that, maybe a little bit more. CMX2, and you can have these panels open wherever you want. I have a second screen. I just don't have them on there right now. You can play around with these until you get what you want. Naturally, you can still, add color layers on top of this as well. But as you can see, one more time, this is our final edited image. We want to explore color, so we do with CGX. And then, we like a palette. We scan it with CMX2 and we apply it to give us some tonal contrast with that palette. So we're compounding, if you will. We're stacking looks using CGX and then CMX2 that to me are like inspiring. You can play around and explore until you find something that really works for you. And while you're here on CMX2, don't forget all the regular tools are available. You can turn off some of these brown tones in the middle. Now it's more blue. You can turn them back on, right? And this is just the beginning of your exploration. You can also go back to CGX and tweak things as well. You can take the shadows more towards purple, maybe take the highlights more towards green if you want. Everything changes actively while you're playing around with your two panels, and until you dial it in just right. When something hits you and you love it, then you know. So it's just another cool suggestion. By no means is this like some kind of master fix to anything. These are just ways that we can mix and match the panels to give you creative opportunities, which is, again, I want to repeat for the 1000th time, which is why here at NBP, we prioritize panels that work on the layers palette, on layers window, right? That way you have that flexibility. You can always change. You can turn things on and off. You can change opacities. You can change all your settings in general. That flexibility to me is much more powerful. Now, if we create panels in the future that open up third-party windows for some reason, that there's going to be a good reason for that if we do that. But our priority is always everything on the layers window. So don't forget that, guys. One more time, you take a good edit that you're feeling good about, you explore a color on CGX, you scan that actual palette, and then you apply it with CMX2, and then you apply it, and then you tweak back and forth. It lets you wake up images with color and with tonal contrast, like I said. All right, I'm going to shut up about it, but that's a really fun method that I want to show you guys today.